This is Zen, the world's best Rocket League player and someone who broke the skill ceiling of what we thought was possible in the game.
Zen's still up. Oh my goodness, Zen!
But while Zen was still a baby learning how to walk, there were many other players who also dominated everybody else they went up against. And today we're gonna look through Rocket League history to find 10 players who were leaps ahead of their time and truly broke the skill ceiling. And to start off, we're going all the way back to 2015 with none other than Kovi. In the early days of Rocket League, Kovi was the player to beat. He was actually so good, he was given a nickname of the Mountain because of how he dominated everybody he went up against. Kovi was the first player to truly master the art of boost management and aerial car control. He was hitting clips like this just months after the game was released. And while now we consider these goals to be just basic aerials that even golds can score nowadays, back then it was revolutionary. Kovi's skill ceiling at the time was truly unmatched, and he made everyone realize that Rocket League was a lot more than just driving cars into a ball. Kovi would go on to inspire a new generation of players to match his ability and become even better. And one of those players was Kuxer97. Following Kovi's reign of Rocket League, Kuxer97 took the scene by storm. He was known for his flashy mechanics and game sense, and he also introduced a brand new mechanic known as the iconic Kuxer pinch. While most players around this time relied on ground dribbles and basic mechanics, Kuxer single-handedly changed the meta by playing with an aggressive, unpredictable style and focusing more on advanced mechanics and speed. His exceptional ball control pushed other top players to improve their own mechanics in order to be able to compete with him at the highest level. Not only did Kuxer's presence impact the aggressive style of professional Rocket League, but it also transformed the defensive strategy of pro teams. And while his famous pinch was scored over 8 years ago, Kuxer was so ahead of his time that this goal would still be considered insane if it was scored today. But he's not the only player who invented a new mechanic that broke the skill ceiling of Rocket League. In 2017, Squishy pulled off one of the most legendary shots in RLCS history, the ceiling shot. It was something that no one saw coming, and it would forever change the meta. While Kuxer brought us into the air, Squishy showed us how to live there. Squishy's creativity inspired not only professional players, but a whole generation of freestylers too. His mechanics were something that was never before seen in RLCS, and as a result, he quickly rose to fame within the community. Squishy had been mastering his aerial game way before players even realized it was possible, and as a result, he became arguably the most mechanical player in the entire game. You can even see this in the first video on his channel titled Rocket League Crazy Aerial Goal, which was uploaded over 9 years ago in August of 2015, just a month after the game was released. However, while these players were focusing on the mechanical side of Rocket League, there was one player who decided to take a different route and completely shatter the skill ceiling in a different way, and his name was K-Dop. In 2018, a new player by the name of K-Dop rose to the top. He was known for his incredible ability to perform under pressure, and while other pro players at the time were experimenting with new mechanics, K-Dop was focused on becoming the most reliable and consistent player in the game. He dominated the competitive scene, winning championship after championship after championship. At his peak, it seemed like nobody could compete with K-Dop, winning 3 championships in a row and appearing in 7 consecutive grand finals was completely unheard of, and that led to everybody crowning him as the undisputed best player in the game. With over $500,000 in earnings and 100 first place finishes in tournaments, K-Dop is arguably the most decorated player in all of Rocket League. K-Dop's reign wasn't all about flashy mechanics, but about clutch performances and perfect positioning. But his strategic approach would soon be challenged by a young mechanical prodigy who doesn't even need an introduction. During K-Dop's peak, a young player by the name of Justin burst onto the scene with what would become the most iconic goal in Rocket League history. It was in RLCS Grand Finals against Dignitas, down by 1 goal at 0 seconds, and Justin hits undoubtedly the most clutch goal ever. 2018 was a game-changing year for Rocket League, and Justin was a huge part of the reason why. At just 15 years old, Justin's mechanics and speed shocked the whole world. He made an explosive debut after signing with NRG, and at the RLCS Season 5 World Championship, where Justin cemented himself as an instant legend. He let people know that he was here to stay, and just 3 seasons later, in RLCS Season 8, Justin won the World Championship with NRG, scoring the game-winning goal. Justin will no doubt go down as one of the most clutch players to ever play the game, and for very good reason. However, as Justin dominated in team play, 2019 saw the rise of one of the most feared 1v1 players ever, Fairy Peak. Known for his insane dribbling control and precise flicks, Fairy Peak became a legend in the 1v1 game. When he wasn't carrying his team Vitality, he was showcasing his skills in various 1v1 tournaments where he was completely unbeaten. Fairy Peak became the most hyped player in the game as he dominated everybody he went up against. He went unbeaten in 10 consecutive show matches from October of 2018 to January 2019. He didn't lose a single match for 3 whole months, and to this day he still holds the record for the longest winning streak in high-level 1v1. But he didn't just dominate in 1v1, he also brought his crazy ones game into team competitions. At DreamHack Leipzig in 2019, Fairy Peak helped his team dominate with his unreal ball control even under intense pressure. And before he came along, everyone was so focused on only learning mechanics that players like Fairy Peak were able to outshine everybody in almost every other aspect of Rocket League. Fairy Peak's never before seen 1v1 ability proved the importance of solo play even in competitive 3v3. This would make everyone else have to adapt and focus more on the game sense side of the game, which raised the skill ceiling even higher. Because after this, even insanely mechanical players were having to level up their positioning and rotation as well. And as a result, by 2020, consistency and smart solo plays were essential at the pro level, as well as mechanics. And a prime example of a player who perfected both of these is Monkey Moon. As the star player in BDS, Monkey Moon showcased some of the smartest Rocket League plays that the world had ever seen. Monkey Moon is one of the best players in the entire game, and his stats speak for themselves. By 2021, he was ranked the best player of the year by Octane.gg. He has over 1,000 RLCS games recorded and is one of the 2 players to have won the RLCS twice. He also has the 6th all-time highest record of ranked 2v2 MMR at 2,607. Monkey Moon was the first player to reach 800,000 in total winnings, just from Rocket League. He remains the highest earning professional player ever and probably will be for a very long time. And the list goes on and on. Monkey Moon is one of the most decorated players to grace the game, and his unmatched positioning and control of the field reflects all of this. At the RLCS Winter Major, he led his team BDS to victory, becoming a key part in almost every single goal they scored. The chemistry he showed with his teammates was something never seen before and inspired a new and improved way to play the game. Monkey Moon's success proved that team plays and chemistry were far more effective than solo plays at the high level. At least, that's what everyone thought until our next player came along. In 2021, a young mechanical prodigy by the name of First Killer took mechanical plays to a whole new level. Scoring some of the craziest goals I've ever seen, he quickly gained a reputation as the most mechanical player on the planet. His mechanics made his shots almost unstoppable for even the best defenders in the world. His skill in 1v1 translated perfectly to 3v3, where he became known for absolutely crushing the defenses of every single team he went up against. Playing with Rogue and later on FaZe Clan, First Killer's mechanics were in a league of their own. At the RLCS X Fall Major, he carried Rogue to multiple wins while consistently making pro teams look like plat players. First Killer was so good that it literally looked like he was in free play while playing against the best teams in the world. And being such an incredibly versatile player, it made his attacks almost impossible to defend and opened the door for many more young mechanical prodigies to follow in his footsteps. Just like our next player, Daniel. Just when it seemed like Rocket League mechanics had reached their peak, Daniel came along to show us otherwise. Daniel was just 9 years old when the Cuxer pinch was first hit in RLCS, and 8 years later, he became the most feared prodigy in all of North America. At his debut with Space Station Gaming, he was already hitting clips that were going viral, not just because of how mechanical they were, but also because of how clutch they were. His mechanics were so smooth that he made it look effortless and could dominate in any mode he wanted to, whether it was 1v1, 2v2, or even 3v3. Hell, he could probably become the best snow day player in a matter of minutes if he wanted to. Daniel's adaptability is something never seen before, and it's probably because he was basically a newborn when he started playing Rocket League. I mean, he grew up with the controller in his hands. He probably learned how to flip reset before he learned how to walk. And during the RLCS 2021 to 2022 Winter Split Major, he showed that even though he was the youngest player on his team, he was the one in charge. Daniel's gameplay doesn't have a weak point, which makes his playstyle completely impossible to defend. As a result, he quickly became the best 1v1 player in the entire world. That is, until Zen came along. And now we arrive at Zen, the player who instantly cemented himself as the best player to ever play the game before he even made his RLCS debut. By 2023, Zen had already built up a reputation as an unbeatable 1v1 player and even had pros in complete agreement that he was the best.
This is funny, because whoever gets this guy wins RCS.
He had such high expectations placed on his shoulders when he first signed with Vitality that nobody expected him to live up to it, but he actually did. During the RLCS 2022 to 2023 Major, Zen amazed everybody with his gameplay, and he was constantly changing the meta with every championship and even invented his own signature shot. But Zen wasn't just stoppable in 3v3, he went unbeaten in 9 1v1 show matches in a row, almost beating Fairy Peak's record. He was unstoppable for months and months until the most intense show match in Rocket League history, where he faced Ruas and lost in Game 7. To this day, it remains as the most viewed 1v1 show match ever played. His rapid rise shows that the Rocket League skill ceiling still has plenty of room to raise itself higher and higher with each passing year, which means that as of now, it's only a matter of time before the next prodigy comes along and breaks the skill ceiling once again. Who is it gonna be? I guess we have to find out.